hey Jake, I'm 22 and joined the mastermind yesterday. Awesome, dude. See, that's so cool. I wish I had had an opportunity to join a mastermind when I was 22 years old. Kudos to you, man. He said, convinced my parents to invest much more than me into XRP. So excited. Thanks for helping. You were a big factor of credibility. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. It's interesting that you bring this up because it's been the topic of conversation with a couple different family offices that have reached out. There's a second or third generation. Many people that run family offices or are the matriarch or patriarch that made the original money are older and very skeptical of digital assets, and rightly so, right? There's a lot of tomfoolery that happens in this asset class, and it is sketchy compared to real estate or private equity or some of the other things on the market out there that have, good returns that they know and can touch and feel, right? The older generation tends to want touch and feel, gold, real estate. They still like stocks for whatever reason, even though they, don't touch stock certificates. But anyway, they reach out and they say, hey, Johnny, who's their grandson or son, wants to invest in this stuff, and we don't understand it, and we Googled, and you're kind of the only person that seems like they're legitimate in this space based on our discernment. Can you meet with us and have a conversation? I say, absolutely. And we walk them through, why we're doing it the way that we're doing it, and the reasons that things really are sketchy, and most of it is speculative in this asset class. And then we share our conviction on different assets with them, and then they make their investments. Most of these family offices manage their own portfolio, but they're willing to give, somebody in the second or third generation a couple $1 million to see what they can do with it, to kind of prove themselves, so that they know that they're going to be making good judgment calls as they take over the management of the portfolio or get on the board later on as they grow up. We got Clint. He says, hey Jake, question, Cold Wallet or Caleb and Brown? Ooh. Depends on what you're comfortable with. I'll say this, Caleb and Brown does have segregated custody. They do use Fireblocks. They do have some type of insurance. I think it's like $10 million on accounts. I don't know that that's been paid out. There's been a couple situations that I've been made aware of where I don't know that they covered the fraud or the loss on that account. We're going to see. I have to circle back on that. So give me a rain check on it. I don't know if they did or not. Not saying they didn't. I just don't know. But they do have some pieces of institutional custody in place, but they don't have all of them. They're not bankruptcy remote. And they use MPC technology, which is not as robust as HSM technology and the FIPS standards here in the U.S. that are required for qualified custodians. They're also not a licensed financial institution there in Australia. They do run audits on their stuff, and they are much better than a lot of the other options out there. So if you want somebody you can call to be able to sell stuff, I think they're great for that. They do charge a very high premium for that benefit, but they don't charge you on the custody assets like we do. But they're also not a qualified custodian. So, it's kind of a give and take. I would probably, it depends on who you are, is really what it comes down to. How much responsibility do you want to take in your own hands, and how much counterparty risk do you want? If you are okay with some radical responsibility, and you're okay with, or you don't want any counterparty risk, I would suggest the Cold Wallet. And my favorite Cold Wallet is Decent. There's plenty of other good ones out there also. People like Tangem, people like Arculus and LLPal, and a bunch of other stuff. I'm just Decent. I like that one. I like the UI. I like the breadth of assets that it has. I like the thumbprint, to be able to access stuff. The biometric. It does have a code just in case you, God forbid, something happens to you and you pass away. Your family can still access it if they have the code. They can get into it. And you can also add a 25th seed word to make it a little bit more robust for, regenerating the wallet or protections of your keys. So that's my 2 cents. I personally don't mind radical responsibility. I had almost everything that I had on cold wallets before I moved it into institutional custody. So, up to you.